Hello and welcome to Monday with the Mayor. I'm Bill Potter, and joining me is the Mayor of Huntingburg, Indiana, Denny Spinner. And Your Honor, you have many things that are going on in Huntingburg all the time, but let's talk about which has been in the news for a little bit. Huntingburg is working to be in the Main Street program, and you had a meeting last week, I believe.
Correct. Huntingburg was a part of the Main Street program several years back, and we're in the efforts to get us back enrolled in that program are well underway. We had a meeting last week, or a week or so ago, with the folks from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, which supervises the Main Street program. And out of that meeting, they kind of outlined the steps we had to take. And the next step that was necessary was to form a steering committee and pick a name for the organization and create a mission statement. Last Friday, from the meeting that we had previously, there were interested parties that came together last Friday and have begun that process. And again, this is a process that the city is not directly involved with. It's a separate program that the city endorses, but the steering committee itself is taking on the life. It's a lot of good concerned citizens who have a great interest in our downtown. And I've seen a flurry of emails today. The discussion last Friday was narrowing down maybe 5 to 7 names down to 2, and also crafting that mission statement. So there's been a lot of good work in the last 2 or 3 days, and I believe that we'll be seeing some announcements on that in the very near future. Again, and the thing that also came out of the most recent meeting is that while traditionally Main Street in some communities has been thought of just they may be 1 block, 2 blocks, we're looking at a very much more expanded area to kind of take in neighborhoods that are involved, look at some different ideas, and we've had some very good meetings with the Office of Community and Rural Affairs. In fact, the director was here in Huntingburg on Friday, kind of looked around, and has really sparked some creative thinking on what this program can be for us. So it's at the very beginning stage, and I want to applaud Nick Stevens as our chamber director and all those who have kind of stepped up to volunteer. As this process moves forward, we need a lot of volunteers. This is something that the whole community can get involved with. You don't have to have a business on 4th Street or on Main Street. You don't have to live in that area, but if you're concerned about the future of the downtown area and the heart of our community, we want you to be involved. So Nick Stevens right now is kind of spearheading that. If you want to contact the city office or the Chamber of Commerce to get more information, we'd be glad to have you involved.
And as my interpretation of the Main Street program, the most important part of it is that you become eligible for granting.
Right. Main Street is kind of one of those check marks when you go looking for funding from some certain state agencies. It's one of those things that they look, are you involved in the Main Street program? In our neighboring communities, Jasper, Ferdinand have been part of this program, and it's just one of those things that is kind of puts you on the list for consideration. And again, I think we're looking at maybe some newer ways or some creative ways to expand the program and be a little bit more inclusive of a larger area. So it's very exciting right now.
Now, you are working to form a tree committee
right.
to discuss trees.
Right.
Where are you at on that? Are you needing volunteers?
We need volunteers, exactly. What happened at the last council meeting on Thursday night is that the council did approve an ordinance that establishes a tree committee for the city of Huntingburg. It is a 5-member board. 3 of the members will be appointed by the mayor. 2 of the members will be appointed by the common council. And I know there's some discussion. I had a few questions after the meeting on Thursday, after it was in the news about this. And what this board does is it's not like a hearing board. It's not where if I want to cut down a tree, I got to come in front of this board. What this board's task is to develop a policy, more broad policies on how do we want to address issues in the city, for anything from if a tree is in a utility line to the types of trees that are most likely to succeed in an urban area. They're not going to be a board that somebody comes before and has to get permission to cut down a tree or to plant a tree. It's not in that way. This is more of a broad policy type of committee that will develop this policy and bring it back to the council for their approval and be renewed annually. So the board itself is not going to sit and judge whether or not your tree has to come down or this stump has to be cut out. It's more to develop a policy that will guide the city as we come up to these issues, as our street department or someone gets called out to a situation where we have a dead tree or a fallen tree, there will be a policy in place that we can instruct. The landowner will know exactly what their responsibilities are. The city will know what our responsibilities are, and we'll be able to take those and work with them to develop a plan that moves forward. Where this all started from, though, was in the downtown area with the 4th Street trees. You might recall we had the state urban forester come in, studied the whole downtown, came and did a report to our community a few months back, and one of her recommendations was to form a tree committee. So this is step one. As we get volunteers to step forward and serve on that committee, we'll name that committee, and then they will begin the process of developing that policy.
How does if somebody wants to volunteer?
Somebody wants to volunteer, they can either call City Hall, give us your name, what your interest is. The council gets 2 appointments. Contact your councilman. If you live in whatever precinct you're in, contact your councilman, tell them you're interested, and we'd be glad to take those names and then make. Hopefully, we'll have that committee named by either the next council meeting or the first one in the next month.
Okay, so do something soon.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, at the last city council meeting, you discussed the ambulance service for Huntingburg, and you're looking to improve the situation.
Right. Since 2007, the local EMS has been located in a building that is also occupied partially by some facilities from our gas department. It was a good solution, temporary solution for us to maintain the service that we have here in Huntingburg. But for over the last year or so, we've been looking at options to provide a better location or a more suitable location for the ambulance service. Part of the requirements is, that there are people on station on call, that we need to have a proper living space for them, kitchen areas, bathrooms, facilities, that the space that we're in right now just haven't been able to provide. Through a kind of a domino effect, part of our utility restructuring is that we have now a water department and an energy department. The water department was looking at, has got permission to get quotes on a new building at our water plant to house some of the equipment that is now being stored on our Van Buren Street location. Dominoes fell in place. If they build that building, they'll be able to move some of their equipment out of the 508 Van Buren Street location into their new building, which would free up space for the energy department. The energy department could in turn take the equipment that's now at the gas garage, move it into this space, freeing up that facility for a more expanded area for our emergency management services. So dominoes are still kind of falling in place, but the thing that's important to realize is this will, I think, and the people from the emergency management, from the ambulance services are very cooperative in working with us, giving us some time, seeing that we have a plan to move forward. And what our plan would be to take that space, which is now limited, expand it, almost double the area that they're available to, do some renovation, make some work done in a garage that was basically designed to store vehicles, and make it more of a place for people to stay, better insulated, more comfortable, and move in the direction of having a very usable space for the ambulance service and maintain that very vital service for the city of Huntingburg. So we're working with the county, with the ambulance service on all those things, but we think we got a good solution in mind.
It sounds like you're heading in the right direction.
We're heading in the right direction, I believe.
Well, Mayor, thank you very much for taking time to speak with us today.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
This has been Monday with the Mayor with Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner.